That's right, pull up a bucket, stump, whatever. Anyway, I'm Glenn Monroe, the Roman gnome, and minister, responder, weather service correspondent, field correspondent, most of the time, right, out in the field. I have this affinity for trees, plants, fungi, mosses, lichens, and ferns, geography, history, law, and healthcare, basically. Also like gardening and underwater basket weaving. Today we have a problem. I went someplace recently, and I do a lot of ministry in places that are, well, unsanitary. And what's really weird is people like to donate certain types of, let's see, is the camera running right? There we go. People like to donate certain things or leave us little friends occasionally. And you have sores on the bottom of your feet occasionally, you get something called Tineas. Tineas is affectionately called by the amateurs ringworm. Ringworm. That's what it's called by the amateurs. But it's actually a type of a fungal infection. Remember, fungus? And I've been trying to combat this one for a while. Yes, I have mud on the bottom of my feet. That was from this morning. And we're going to have to change socks. They're out our boots. And anyhow, as you can tell right here, some sun. That's what it looks like. It's very painful. It blisters and it hurts like hell. Yeah, I know, my foot has got mud on the bottom of it. But anyhow, I got this from a shower or a pair of shoes that somebody gave me, and I was under the impression that they were new. And I finally asked the donation person, and they said, no, I've worn those before. I said, oh yeah, well, what is your career field? You know, what they do for a living? They work around animals. Ringworm. So, that's what it is. It's like, oh, thanks, you gave me Tineas, or Tineas Corposis. If you speak Latin. Where I'm from, it's just a blistering sore that hurts like hell on the bottom of your foot. To make a long story short, there are several types of treatments. One of them is to don't wear any shoes. Right? Air your feet out, wash your feet, walk around with no shoes on. The fungus actually attacks skin cells and leather. It eats, remember we talked about certain types of fungi that actually will grow in circles around places where there was possibly a dead animal or a dead human body. So, like fairy rings and the like, you know, like some of the mushrooms and fungi that we collect they grow in a circle. They grow in a circle, and so does this fungi. This fungi grows in a circle. Okay, so as we see here, it's looking pretty bad. It feels bad. And if you break this open, you can get it all over you. Get it in your eyes, get it on your face, your stomach. It's highly contagious. So what we're going to do is, camphor oil is the active ingredient in some of the... Camphor oil comes from things like rosemary, catnip, some of your toothpastes, camphorphenique. I mean, you might have that in your medical gear if you do medical stuff. I'm not saying medical. I'm talking about your traditional apothecary. You know, you carry plants around in oils, essential oils, things like that. Would be rosemary, oregano, parsley. Any of those oils or plants that produce a camphor oil. We talk about that all the time, that camphor oil, because it's highly combative against viruses and bacteria that some of the other insects that we have here in the Ozarks carry. So, first things first, what we need to do, right? So we need to consider what types of plants can we use that are in the camphor family, because on the other active ingredient was acylic acid, or silex, which comes from the willow, which is aspirin. So basically it's a minty, aspirin-y paste. And that's about it. Camphor and aspirin. Mix it together and put it on there. The amounts, that's going to be up to you, really. I mean, it's kind of like I'm working on. I was like, well, what works best? So we have catnip. That is our choice for the day. We have catnip. Remember, spring, right? May, end of May. So we have catnip. That's some of our wild plant choices. We have juniper. It's got camphor oil in it. So we have the red cedar, known as juniper, or any pine for that matter. We have some of the other astringent herbs like garlic, wild onions, we can use to put on it. But the more important thing is to, you know, take your shoes off and your socks. I know a lot of people who don't wear shoes at all, and they don't have any problems with fungus on their feet. And but I don't have that luxury because I have to wear boots because I go places that are dangerous. Glass, nails, body parts, animal stuff. And what I did was with my boots today, before I started, I did go ahead and put catnip cuttings. I actually put it in my boots to try to ward off the, you know, the evil spirits causing me to be sick. And that's all they used to know back in the days. They would say, oh, it's some kind of evil you've been cast upon me, causing me this grievous illness, to be covered in sores and scrape myself and put ash all over it. I think that was the earliest findings of any kind of story I could find from days of old, when people had festering, blistering wounds all over themselves from hanging around places where they had a lot of animals and kids that, you know, didn't have a father. But anyhow, ringworm, but it's actually Tineas Corposis. There's a couple other ones that grow actually in the fungal part of your toenails, your fingernails. There's a couple other ones that cause something that looks like eczema and some other things. And so first things first, what we want to do is don't touch it too much with your hands, okay? Take your shoes off, let that air out, get rid of your socks if you have to. I wear cotton socks a lot, so I can chunk those. I have I just bought a huge big bag of them. Actually, I didn't buy them. They were, like I said, gifted. I always try to get new things because I have a problem with people giving me stuff they've wore, and guess what happens? I get sick because they give it away to you not because it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of people around here who just, you have an infection and then you give it to you. I don't understand. Why would you want to give clothing and stuff to people when you're already been sick and you got your stuff on there? I burn this stuff. I cut the shit up and I bury it and I burn it. I'm not going to give you an infected piece of garment. I gave it to you. No one's wore it before. That's the whole point of pristine and virgin, you know, or somebody that was healthy gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? All right. So don't give or donate your clothing or shoes when you're sick and don't do that. That just makes it worse on everybody else. Anyhow, first of all, what we want to do is we want to air out our feet. We want to avoid, you know, putting our hands in our face and our, you know, anybody else. We want to get rid of our infected footwear, you know, like our socks. The shoes, more than likely, I could fix. The socks, on the other hand, because that's actually been, you know, part of the problem. But as you can see here, yeah, that's painful as hell. It's like a big blister, and you can see these little corpuscles that are around it. The little corpuscles, that's what it's called, Tineas Corposis. But we call these corpuscles, they're little circular pus circles, that's what we call them. And they turn black, which is called nigerius, or Niger. And a lot of times, I'm going to be honest with you, back in the day, people used to come here from other countries, and it was only related, certain diseases are only related to certain types of people who do certain types of things. So sometimes they would just say, you know, who brought it this time? Oh, it was old Fred brought it, or old Johnsons, or, you know. Those diseases were only associated with people that do certain behaviors. Smoking cigarettes was always related to TB and consumption. Eating large amounts of animals, especially chicken, was associated with eczema and obesity. You know, I mean, you name it. All kinds of weird stuff. But, you know, certain types of behavior related to certain types of diseases. Coming from places that have a lot of fecal matter and dead animals, and, you know, uncleanliness. Guess what you're going to get? Hepatitis. A bunch of other stuff. Syphilis, staph infection. Anyhow, make a long story short, those are types of bacteria. Let me get my hand out of my face, right? Types of bacteria, then we have fungi, or funguses. And like I said, fungi actually, what they're trying to do is, they're doing their job. But I don't want them doing their job on me because, well, apparently it doesn't feel very good. So we have to figure out how can we get this off my foot. So first of all, camphor oil. Camphor oil, main ingredient in some of the oldest remedies known on the planet for getting rid of the, the fungal infections, skin disorders, staph infection, and the like. So let's go find us some camphor oil. And that, where I live at, is going to be more along the lines of it's going to be in the pine trees. See, we have some behind me, as you can see. I don't know if you can see back here. All this back here is all nothing but pine trees. You can use that if you have to. But make sure you wash your feet in it several times a day. And keep your feet dry and out in the open and air it out. Wash your feet, put some cream on it. And I did get some cream. I started with the actual lowest amount, 88 cents a tube. I did buy some, and I thought I'd try my way, and I thought I'd try their way, and let's see which works the best. Or maybe a combination of the both. Because their directions say up to 4 weeks. Well, I don't have 4 weeks to wait on my foot to heal because it's painful, and I rely on the fact that I have foot power. I walk. I don't ride around in a car. I don't fly. I float or I walk. Swimming or walking. That's about it. So my feet have to be functional. My legs have to work. Anyhow, so let's go get some catnip, and I'll come back and show you a few little ways on how we can use the catnip in some basic, just simple, natural ways to try to at least alleviate the pain and eradicate the fungal infection. Okay, so stick around, and we'll get to that.